And we continue with the Christmas series, The Baptism of the Lord, January 9th. The Baptism of the Lord is, for me, the conclusion of the Christmastide. This is the moment that finally marks the end of the season. Why? Because it ends the period of anticipation. Let me elaborate. In November, the Feast of Christ the King ended the Christian year and heralded the beginning of a new one, in my opinion, by reiterating the Christian profession that Jesus is Lord. Advent was a period of anticipation as we awaited the arrival of Christ, and Christmas is the period where he did arrive in the world, the Word made flesh. The baptism of the Lord marks a new period in Jesus' life. This is the moment where he finally goes out into the world and begins his ministry, preaching the Word of God first to Israel, and then eventually his followers will take it to the wider world, the Greco-Roman world, which would eventually make it to the Germanic and Gaelic worlds, and then eventually the remainder. The baptism marks the end of anticipation. But Christmas is the end of waiting. Jesus was born and now he dwells among us. The waiting is over, man. You got it all wrong. True, but let's face it. Christmas is us looking at little baby Jesus and admiring him. We're still doing that on Epiphany. And frankly, he wasn't doing much until he went to the Jordan and was baptized by John. This moment would mark the transition from just being in the world to now working in the world to bring it back to God. After all, most of the world was preoccupied with its own affairs. Only 100 years ago, the Romans were fighting constantly against the Carthaginians, Numidians, Greeks, Macedonians, Parthians, and themselves. Conquest was the order of the day, and it came with the help of the gods. And let's not forget, syncretism was in vogue. But now Jesus, now confirmed in the Spirit of God in the Jordan, can now begin his mission in earnest. Was he making up for lost time? Was he just mulling over everything? Or was he a ticking time bomb? In any case, the King has come. Yes, Advent is a period of anticipation for the arrival of the King, and Christmas is when the King came. But today, the baptism of the Lord is when the King finally got to work. We waited for him, he came, and now he goes out into the world. Now, all things can begin. Now the King will work to reclaim what was his and bring everyone back into the fold.